It's the Good Slate Late Show in the morning at noon for tea time after dark.
Hi, once again, my name's Graham Jones, and we are at Good Slate Pictures today again for the Good Slate Late Show in the morning at noon for tea time after dark. Today we have the amazing George Quinones. Welcome in, George. Yes, sir. How's it going?
Chilling.
How you been?
I'm happy to be here. I've been good.
Yeah, thanks.
I'm trying to work as much as I can, you know what I'm saying? And see my friends when I get any opportunity I can, so.
Yeah, thanks for joining us today.
Can you see this?
That's a choice.
The fuck?
Baby, let's just come back.
Nah, fuck that.
Malik!
So, tell me a little bit about your role in The Bondsman. For starters, how you got the role.
Well, actually, it was kind of cool. Usually we don't get to do, I guess you could say, acting bits. You know, usually the guys get thrown all over the place. But I don't know exactly. I think they wanted to keep the acting and the creatures the same. You know, I wanted to try it. So they gave us audition lines. They gave us little bits to speak in front of them to see if we can actually do it. And technically, I was supposed to just do the creature stuff. They were just going to bring me in, beat me up, you know, do everything they had to
usual.
do. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, the
Yeah,
usual. And, but I think what me and JC gave them so far, it made them think that maybe they could add more to the characters that they already gave us.
Okay.
So they tried it out. And then when we read for them, they liked how we read. And, you know, we have to do little acting bits all the time. So they were surprised that we could kind of act. But I say we can act. We just don't get
That's what we do,
a lot of the opportunities to do the whole, I guess you could say, the lines and everything.
Right.
Which is...
Was this your first acting role?
No, not at all. But it was the first one that there's... it was, I guess, pages and pages. So it's not just like, get out of here, or give me your wallet, or some weird language or something like that.
You had quite a lot of dialogue.
Yeah, all of that. And
before they turned you demonic.
Pages, exactly. And then after that is just burger or whatever. So, but yeah, it was quite a few pages, about like 7, 8 pages. So I've had auditions with a lot of pages, but I never had a gig locked in where they gave us full-on role.
That's awesome.
And the girl that was with us too, she actually surprised me because I thought she was an actor.
Christina, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was actually a stunt girl too.
Yeah.
So, and it's funny because I think they hired her. Her stunt was screaming. She screamed her ass off.
Yeah.
And it scared everybody. So the director was like, all right, you know what to do. Action. And we're in a cemetery, by the way. Yeah. So I'm just thinking, like, all this, I guess, dead people, you know, all this stuff. You just hear some random lady screaming over there, like, bloody murder.
We're sorry.
I was just like, damn, I hope nobody's, like, running for their lives right now, you know. But, yeah, it's crazy because I can't personally scream. Maybe that's why I'm impressed by it.
Yeah.
I can only scream if it's real. I can't just be like,
right, somebody's actually gonna scare you.
Yeah, exactly. But so when people can, I'm like, oh, that's crazy. That's dope. It doesn't impress nobody else.
Because your character doesn't really scream. He just immediately gets crushed.
Yeah, I just argue and then get my ass kind of handed to me by JC.
Right.
He throws me under that, and you never see a pickup truck like that. You seen the wheels? It was like those monster truck tires.
Yeah, they're like 6 feet tall.
Yeah, so, having those bad boys too. So it was actually really cool because the lines we get when we do get them, it's always, like I said, darker stuff, robbing people, you're doing this, you're in a fight, you're a henchman, you're that.
Yeah, but you're just having a normal conversation at first.
I had to portray that I actually kind of like, love this female. I'm proposing to her and everything. Even though it's social media, I'm kind of like some ego guy.
Yeah.
It never really had a role, even a tuxedo. So having a tuxedo on, I was like, oh snap, this isn't some, crazy thug gear or sweatpants.
My face is showing. What is going on right now?
Yeah, I was not used to that. The hair, everything. So, but it was cool because at the end of it, we allowed them to, I guess you could say, they got to see us do a little bit more.
Yeah.
So at the end of it all, she was like, dude, I might just keep using stunt guys for, the creatures. And I was like,
Why not?
we're all ready, basically.
Yeah,
Just
why
bring
not?
us in. So we're game for it, But it was pretty cool. It wasn't my first. I don't think it's going to be, my last. But it was definitely, I think, amazing practice, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, that actually brings me to my next question because you said a lot about the stunts you had to do with the acting. And lie to me, whatever you want to do. But I legit would not know any different if someone told me that you were actually hanging from the ceiling with no wire work. Because I've seen you move.
The fuck?
What was wires and what was just your performance?
Well, the wire part, I guess you could say it was, a lot of the snapping to the floor.
Yeah.
But part of the hiring was the fact that I can hold myself in weird positions. And
we
do those things.
we know. Cut to that. Watch this.
So yeah, I think being able to hold, like one of the stunts when I first fell in. So it's like holding the ceiling wasn't the hard part. I had to fall from the ceiling, do a 180, and land on someone's back.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, that was harder than being snatched from the corner of the ceiling all the way to the ground and into the wall or whatever.
It's technical.
Simply because I had to do everything, like let go, turn, grab him, take him down without.
This is
actually
all on
landing
George,
him.
but we know he can do it.
A little bit, yeah. And that's kind of why they hire us. They hire because they know we can, and then they give us like the bits of help and performance that they can give in the rigging. So these dudes, I was like the last piece of the puzzle. It was kind of awesome. So I come in, they have everything set up. I'm like a dummy bag until I get there. Just like a bag that they have on all, on the wires and whatnot. And then we get there and you just see all of the stuff that they put together, like by math. It's just this gear to that goes over here. And then the pull that they're doing, no one can be in the room. So they're going off of the sound of just what's going on inside the room and then yanking me and whatnot. And so I'm holding the roof by myself. As I let go and fall, that's when they yank, and I get yanked all the way toward, I guess you could say.
And how do you get that timing? How did they know when to pull the rope, though?
It was
just hope
based
for the
on
best.
Kevin Bacon's acting as well. He was in his, I think, his robe and underwear at this time. So part of this stunt was my arm reaching over here.
Yeah.
So once he saw my arm, and I guess he notifies that he sees it, that he like had a shotgun or something like that. So he cocks the shotgun. I think that lets them know over there, like, okay, he's about to go. So then boom, wow, that's
We
have it all
heard a
timed
little
out.
bit about this scene. Hutch was telling us that he made Tom shave his entire body, and he was in a bathrobe all day pulling line.
Yeah, and he, I don't even think he did any.
Yeah, he didn't do anything.
Yeah, he was full body shaved, which
He just looked
is
like a naked
terrible.
mole rat on set.
And it's crazy how some of the stuff we got to do. Like, so for instance, dudes don't really shave usually. So having to shave your full body, your skin automatically reacts in some wild way. So now you got to deal with that too. The moment the gig is over, now you look like a slice of pizza, basically. It's just everything,
Yeah.
But funny
that's-
thing about that scene, Kevin Bacon, I didn't know he was going to be in his drawers and his robe. So I had on the tuxedo and the harness that we have, and I had to take off the tuxedo and everything to fix the harness and the clothes. So I'm standing there with my pants all the way down, and Kevin Bacon walks in. So I'm like, I got to shake his hand, but my pants are all the way on the ground, but I can't pick them up yet because they got to pick me, fix this, do all that. So I just apologize. I'm like, sorry, I'm in my drawers, bro. And he goes and he opens his robe. He goes, me too. So I was like, oh, awesome, sweet. I'm not alone on that, So yeah, he was really cool as well.
Oh man, that
Came to us, introduced himself and everything. So it's pretty dope.
Yeah, that's awesome. I've heard nothing but good things about Kevin.
Yeah, and the riggers that he brought on, for that, just, that gig in general, like the things that they, not even just with me, I remember they had to pull JC for a few things. It was just
I was going to say, I'm sure your bits were probably the easier ones.
Yeah, it was some crazy stuff that was actually, and it's like, I guess you could say the bit looked intricate that I was doing, but
that's because you made it.
Yeah, their bodies, what they do with their bodies on the rest of the wires, like the rest of the stunts. I remember like Kane had one where he got pulled but had to turn sideways and then hit this thing. So it's just, I personally, when I look at a lot of that stuff, I don't know how, I guess you could say, I'm not as good as they are at thinking it up and putting it together. That's why they are who they are.
Right.
But that part impresses me. The gears of it. Like, again, I'm just a dead body at the end of the wire to, put it on and everything is done. Then I get there. They yank, pull, all this stuff. So I get to watch the whole system be put together. And that fascinates me because, I don't know, I guess I'm too used to being thrown at stuff. So the fascinating part now is the little
Is
things.
watching it set up.
Exactly.
Yeah. Science.
All of it. It's literally the math,
No. So, another thing, what's something that we really wouldn't know from watching the show? Give us a little B.T.S, a little behind the screens moment.
Well, especially because the audience can't really see this, but I had a very awkward moment with my dummy, like the head blown away guy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm standing there and I turn around and I see me on the floor
with no face.
And what weirded me out was, like, this part, it was leaning back like this, and you could see that they went as far as to put the little bits of hair, like the skin, the hair, the everything. It looked just like me, even down to the body type, how, like, kind of heavy it looked and everything. The hair, that it was just,
that's creepy.
It was creepy. I was like, y'all were probably looking through my window to make this dummy. You know what I mean? But they did. So it was like big props to whoever was making, like, a lot of these dummies, because it was spot on. So much that I got in trouble. Because I was trying to take a picture. We're not supposed to take pictures, but they kind of was like, you could take a picture, it's fine. And the coordinator, he wasn't there that whole day. It was, another coordinator was picking up for him, and this guy was just doing something else for the moment. And so I take my phone out, and the moment literally I go to press to take a picture, I just feel a hand grab my shoulder, and I jump and look, and it's the freaking coordinator, and I was just like,
here we go.
So he goes, come over here. So
like
I was like,
office.
About to get my ass beat, So, but it wasn't bad. I didn't get in trouble. He was just like, just be careful, don't do that, and, which I shouldn't have, but they just told me do it. It was, it's like, coast is clear.
They said I could.
But that's how good the dummy was. I was like, I have to show my mom this, you know what I'm saying? So
freak her out.
So it was impressive, I guess you could say. My awkward feeling means they did a good job.
Oh,
at the dummy. So I thought
props
that was really
props
cool.
to the special effects makeup department. So, other than, like, the actual stunts and the acting that you did, what is some of your favorite moments from the show? Are you looking forward to anything in the show that you may have not seen yet?
Basically, the fact that they used a lot of stunt people as actors as well is one of the reasons I do want to watch the show, because I feel like I'm going to know half of the people on the show. Like, they're all kind of diving a little bit deeper than they usually kind of get to do. And since they're jumping in to do a little bit more, getting lines here, lines there, or having to be more than just brute. Like, to me, that's reason for me to watch. I get to see a lot of my homies who are always just getting shot and murdered, thrown downstairs, like, set on fire. I get to see them do a little bit more. And it's more people, so it's not just, Bobby. There's freaking Tom, then you got JC, you got the whole rigging squad they brought in, the girls they brought in too. So it's like, I actually know almost the whole show. It's rare when I get to watch a show where it's actually like that.
Like,
so I'm like, that guy and that guy is all this. Sweet.
So
it's pretty cool. Same way I feel like I'm watching, like, friends that send me videos of them, like, check this thing I did. But now I'm gonna watch a show of
literally
things that
from
they
the
did.
Opening moment of episode 1.
Literally, and then this whole for myself, I've never been, in a sense, I guess you could say, a staple to a singular episode. So the episode was about me and JC. And we're just usually pieces in the episodes.
And you have 2 episodes, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
And so to me, like, I think that is actually, it's pretty awesome. I get to watch the next steps that other stunt people are taking too, and I think it's also gonna make other stunt people want to step into acting and doing more stuff like that.
Right.
Like, a lot more.
I think a lot of stunt performers right now are getting more into acting.
Yeah, I think they
should. With the way things are going at the moment.
I think they should, and they should write too. They should write, like, a lot of their own projects. They'd be surprised what they come up with, and then if you act your own project, you're probably gonna go even more 1,000% at it.
That's where the real creativity comes
Exactly. So I think that's on its way, actually. So I think this is a perfect, like, I guess, way to show that it's on its way.
We know you're not a social media person, so we can't find you on social media, which I
ghost.
I wish I could do the same thing, honestly. I'm not that brave, though. Yeah, he's a free
I'm
man.
a free man.
Yeah,
Freeman.
no, but what interesting projects do you have coming up?
Well, actually, I have to go to New York soon to do some mocap as a monkey, actually.
Yeah.
So it's like drug dealers and whatnot, and they have
You're a
exotic
drug-dealing monkey?
Well, maybe. It might go that way, but as of right now,
That's probably going to get cut out.
There's cages with monkeys in them, and they're exotic animals that this drug dealer has.
Yeah.
And so they needed, I think, 6 monkeys. And I'm 2 of them, and what they have us do is literally anything a monkey would do in a cage. So basically act like a monkey, but in different emotions. So act like a monkey scared, a monkey excited, a monkey, all of them. And then whichever works for whatever they're doing with the rest of the game, they keep it all, and then I guess nix the rest. And so yeah, he has a bunch of just exotic monkeys, and I can't name the game. I'm not allowed to yet, but it's so it's motion capture for.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
you've done a lot of motion capture, right?
I've done it for a few films. I did Avengers, the Infinity Wars. I've done a Red Dead Redemption. Some other, I guess, Rockstar video games.
Most people have seen George before. You just didn't know it.
Yeah, you didn't know. No social media, so I'm a ghost even in people's normal people's lives, So, but yeah, some projects coming up like that. I have a friend of mine. He just wrote a project. He is using me as a character named the Wild Card, who the character is actually loosely based on me. So as people are fighting, I run into the ring and just hit some guy because I'm the wild card.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna wear a trench coat and a karate gi that are fused together. So it looks like I'm a homeless karate man, wild card guy.
Love that.
So yeah, just random little projects like that, and then I'm always helping out with friends of mine if they have any of their own projects they're doing. I'll jump in and be a body, or I'm at Diamond now studio helping anybody with creature work, and if anybody's a beginner and want to just start training and
That's
whatnot.
awesome.
Yeah, we just go and we work on everything from walking literally forward rolls to whatever you're capable of, basically. We'll work on
what someone's comfortable with.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well,
so
come check out George at Diamond soon. Well, George, it's been a pleasure.
thank you, brother.
Thanks for everything. Thanks for coming in today. Once again, this has been George Quinones on the Good Slate Late Show in the morning at noon for tea time.
After dark.
This episode is brought to you by Diamond Action Design. Want to learn stunts? Visit diamondactiondesign.com.